This is Talking Wikipedia. W is the 23rd letter in the basic modern Latin alphabet. In other Germanic languages, including German, its pronunciation is similar or identical to that of English. In Spanish, it is double the or u double, and in French double the, both literally double V. History. A 1693 book printing that uses the W alongside the modern letter the sounds /W/ spelled with V and /B/ spelled B of classical Latin developed into a bilabial fricative / between vowels in early medieval Latin. Therefore, V no longer represented adequately the labial velar approximand sound /W/ of Germanic phonology. The Germanic /W/ phoneme was therefore written as DV or UU and V becoming distinct only by the early modern period by the 7th or 8th century by the earliest writers of Old English and Old High German. 5 Gothic, by contrast, simply used a letter based on the Greek for the same sound. It is from this UU digraph that the modern name W derives. The digraph was commonly used in the spelling of Old High German, but only sporadically in Old English, where the /W/ sound was usually represented by the runic win. In early Middle English, following the 11th century Norman conquest, UU gained popularity and by 1300 it had taken Win's place in common use. Modern English orthography has thus remained historically consistent with the early scribal orthography of the Brythonic languages Welsh, Cornish, Breton ultimately derived from Latin, and distinct from its near continental neighbors, such as French and German where the double V is used. Scribal realization of the digraph could look like the pair of vertices whose branches crossed in the middle. An obsolete, cursive form found in the 19th century in both English and German was in the form of an N whose rightmost branch curved around as in the cursive V. Citation needed the shift from the ligature DV to the distinct letter W is thus gradual, and is only apparent in abecadaria. Explicit listings of all individual letters. It was probably considered a separate letter by the 14th century in both Middle English and Middle German orthography, although it remained an outsider not really considered part of the Latin alphabet proper, as expressed by Gallant and Nicholson in the 16th century, who complain that poor W is so infamous and unknown that many barely know either its name or its shape, not those who aspire to being Latinists, as they have no need of it, nor do the Germans, not even the schoolmasters, know what to do with it or how to call it. Some call it we, others call it UU. The Swabians call it Au 6 in Middle High German and possibly already in Late Old High German. The West Germanic phoneme /W/ became realized as V. This is why the German W today represents that sound. There is no phonological distinction between W and V in German, and the W sound remains heard allophonically for W, especially in the cluster SCHW, besides kilowatts for Q. though modern German dialects generally have only V for West Germanic W. Some Bavarian dialects preserve a light initial W in words like Wios. Standard German WIVAS I know cf. English wit. The classical Latin is heard in the Southern German greeting service hello or goodbye. In Dutch it became a labiodental approximand / with the exception of words with edu, which have /e/ or other diphthongs containing uw. Dialectally, in many Dutch-speaking areas, such as Flanders and Suriname, the / pronunciation is used at all times. Usage. In Europe, there are only a few languages that use W in native words, and all are located in a central Western European zone between Cornwall and Poland. English, German, Low German, Dutch, Frisian, Welsh, Cornish, Breton, Walloon, Polish, Kashubian, Sorbian and Rizae use W in native words. English uses W to represent W. German, Polish and Kashubian use it for the voiced labiodental fricative V, with Polish and related Kashubian using L for W, and Dutch uses it for W or. Unlike its use in other languages, the letter is used in Welsh and Cornish to represent the vowel U as well as the related approximand consonant W. English also contains a number of words beginning with a W that is silent in most dialects before a pronounced R, remaining from usage in Anglo-Saxon in which the W was pronounced reek, rap, wreck, French, drought, wrinkle, etc. Certain dialects of Scottish English still distinguish this digraph. In the International Phonetic Alphabet, W is used for the voiced labial velar approximand, probably based on English. In Finnish, W is seen as a variant of V and not a separate letter. It is however recognized and maintained in the spelling of some old names, reflecting an earlier German spelling standard, and in some modern loan words. In all cases it is pronounced V. In Danish, Norwegian and Swedish, W is always pronounced as V, and as such, it is named double V and not W. In these languages, the letter only exists in old names, loan words and foreign words. Foreign words are distinguished from loan words by having a significantly lower level of integration in the language. The letter was officially introduced in the Danish and Swedish alphabets as late as 1980 and 2006. Respectively, despite having been used for much longer. It was recognized since the conception of modern Norwegian, with the earliest official orthography rules of 1907. W was earlier seen as a variant of V, and W as a letter double D is still commonly replaced by V in speech, e.g. www being pronounced as dvlv, who svhos, etc. The two letters were sorted as equals before W was officially recognized, and that practice that is still recommended when sorting names in Sweden. 8 In modern slang, some native speakers may pronounce W more closely to the origin of the loanword than the official V pronunciation. in the alphabets of most modern Romance languages excepting far northern French and Walloon. W is used mostly in foreign names and words recently borrowed. Week and il would, l kiwi. When a spelling for W in a native word is needed, a spelling from the native alphabet, such as V, U, or OU, can be used instead. In the Cyrillic alphabet used for the Belarusian language, is pronounced like English W. The Japanese language uses W pronounced dabaru as an ideogram meaning double. In Arabic, W is transliterated using the penultimate letter of the alphabet, Vav. W is also the symbol for the chemical element tungsten, after its German name, Wolfram. Name. W is the only English letter name with more than one syllable, except for the occasionally used, though somewhat archaic. Its name is pronounced similar to Ethel and the archaic pronunciation of Ziazerd. The initialism www for the World Wide Web thus, perhaps ironically, has 3 times as many syllables as the full name. Some too. Speakers therefore shorten the name W into W only. For example, University of Washington, University of Wyoming and University of Western Australia are all known colloquially as UW, and the automobile company Volkswagen, abbreviated VW, is sometimes pronounced VW. The fact that many website URLs still require a www prefix has likewise given rise to a shortened version of the original 3-syllable pronunciation. W and H are also the only English letters whose names are not pronounced with any of the sounds that the letter typically makes. Many others, however, prefer to pronounce the W as W, reducing it to 2 syllables. For example, www would be 6 syllables rather than 9. Being pronounced www. The common says-who method of pronouncing W would almost be unmistakably W. George W. Bush has been given the nickname Dubia after the colloquial pronunciation of W in Texas. This is Talking Wikipedia.